What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Core here. Today we're looking at some more r/am I the silly bugger? Again, not saying it because of fear of demonetization, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. You know, leave a comment. I'll make sure to put in the timestamps and stuff like that to the story numbers in the description, and they'll also appear on the timeline bar thing. So yeah, anyways, let's just jump into this. I gotta find another YouTuber's intro to rip off. I keep using Philip DeFranco's. Am I the silly bugger for switching to regular milk to prove my lactose intolerant roommate keeps stealing from me? Me and two other guys share an apartment together and we split all the bills. The only thing we don't split costs on is the groceries. Everyone's in charge of buying their own food and we don't touch whatever doesn't belong to us in the fridge. We put our names on everything so no one gets mixed up. This issue has been going on for almost a year and I'm sick of it. One of my roommates, R, keeps stealing my food. I got home from work and containers of my leftovers are sometimes missing. They have my name written on it. Or my stuff finishes too quickly. My gallon of milk, for example, I buy almond milk because I like the taste, but it seems to finish after a week, even though I've only drank once or twice. I've confronted R about this lots of times, and that causes a lot of arguments. He outright denies it and tells me I'm crazy, even though it's so obvious. My other roommate and I carpool together because we both work the same early morning shifts around the same area, so I know it's not him. It's always after we get back home and R's already left for work that I notice my food's gone. My roommate also had a similar problem, but not as often as I do. I'm guessing because R doesn't like the food he buys. The funny thing is, R buys a lot of food for himself and is even more stingy about his food. He will literally point out what's his when he comes back from the grocery shop and tell us not to touch it. Last week, my milk was nearly empty again, and I got fed up. I went to the liquor store and bought regular dairy milk. I drank what was left of my almond milk and refilled the gallon with the one I bought. This was to catch/prove R is the one stealing, since he's lactose intolerant. The next Saturday, we got back home from work, and R is pissed. He yelled at me that he is stuck in the bathroom for 40 minutes because of my milk. He was using it to make a shake. I only responded with, "So then you're the one who's been stealing." He freaking exploded. Yeah, he admitted he was sometimes drinking my milk and eating my food, but he was more mad that I switched the milks and the fact that he was caught. I told him I wouldn't have done that if he had just stopped taking my stuff from the fridge, or at least told the truth instead of trying to make it seem like I was making it up. My roommate backed me up and thought it was kind of funny he got payback for stealing from us. It's a little tense right now, and my roommate told me R is trying to convince him to agree to kick me out. Little does he know we're both looking into moving somewhere else because we're sick of his shit. I told some buddies what happened and a few think I am a silly bugger for that. I feel like I'm not in the wrong here. He was taking my food and not even owing up to it, and I wanted to prove it. Does this make me the silly bugger? Look, you have your rules in the household that everyone has their own food and that they label it and they're only allowed to touch their own food unless, like, you know, permission's given or whatever. And your roommate violated those rules and he got sick from it. That's his own fault. Shouldn't have ever been taking your food in the first place. You're definitely completely within your right to switch the labels on the milk or whatever. That's fine. And look, I understand that there's a lot of circumstances in life where you do need to borrow something from a roommate, and it's easier to just take it in that instance and just let them know and pay them back later or whatever. Or, you know, most of the time, if you just ask, they're going to be like, yeah, no, that's fine, don't worry about it. But because this guy is denying it and lying about it, then it's just this whole separate issue. And yeah, you're definitely not the silly bugger in this scenario. Am I the silly bugger for talking to my sister's boyfriend without her permission? So my sister recently got a boyfriend and they've been together for I don't know how long exactly. She's so secretive about him and barely talks about him, nor does she let me talk to him. Every time they hang out, he picks her up and she runs out the door without letting our family know where she's going or who she's going with. I just want to get to know the guy my sister is dating. Multiple times while I have caught her on the phone with him, I would tell her to put it on speaker or give me her phone so I could talk to him. And she said he wasn't ready to talk to me yet and only wanted to meet my parents right now. 2 days ago, my sister went to meet her boyfriend's parents. While she was there, I called her and asked her to talk to him and his mum. She said I could and then hung up. I texted her asking why she hung up and she said I can't talk to people I don't know. I told her I just want to be supportive and to get to know her boyfriend and her boyfriend's family and to let me talk to her boyfriend. Then I asked her why she wouldn't let me talk to him. She told me that I can't talk to him on the phone and I gotta wait until Dad meets him in person. Then she called me nosy and a busybody. And she called me an annoying little sister, and that the more I harass her, the longer it would take until I can meet him. Then she said I am not her parent and I can't demand to see her boyfriend. Mum already met him a few weeks back, but Dad said he doesn't want to meet him until they've been together for 6 months, and my sister and I would have to wait until then. This pissed me off. And I told her that if I want to meet somebody, I will. And she's not my parent, so she can't stop me from meeting her boyfriend. I didn't like her tone, so I told her that she better act right when she talks to me. I refused to let her talk to me any way she wants. So I sat at our driveway until my sister came home. I had to wait for 2 hours, but they finally showed up close to midnight. When he parked in front of the driveway, I ran in front of the car to prevent him from driving off, and I stood at his driver's window. He took forever to wind down his window, even after I said hi, and then when he did wind it down, it was only a little bit. I secretly recorded our conversation. I introduced myself and asked him what did they do, who did they meet, and where did they go. He seemed scared of me, so clearly my sister told him something to make him feel that way. She wants to claim he thought I was a nice girl from stuff she told him about in the past, but if he thought I was nice, he shouldn't have been acting like a when I talked to him. Do you not hear the things that come out of your mouth? Do you not understand how unbelievably creepy you are? You're the worst type of person. Like, I hate you from just this short story. You are unbelievably obnoxious. Holy hell. He doesn't want to meet you. He doesn't want that. He's not ready for that. Your sister doesn't want that. Your sister doesn't want you to meet him. Maybe, right? Maybe it's because of the way you've been acting in this story. Look at what you've done. Look at what you've said, okay? Now reflect on that, okay? Like, demanding to speak to him when she is meeting his parents? That's horrible. Running in front of his car to speak to him? Horrible. Secretly recording your conversation and then referring to him as a that is horrible. You are a bad person. A genuinely bad person. Think about your actions, okay? Think about them, please. Am I the silly bugger for telling this college guy's mum that her coming to his interview cost him the job? I'm a hiring manager at a tech company, and I was hiring for a summer internship a little while ago. We had a guy, about 19 years old, applying for a summer internship between his freshman and sophomore years of college. It was a virtual interview over Zoom because of COVID. A minute or two in, when I was introducing myself, his mum came in and introduced herself and started talking about her son's work ethic. I thought it was a little strange. I said something polite about wanting to hear from him. She just didn't get the hint and kept coming into camera frame during the interview and interrupting her son to answer questions for him. I asked a few technical questions, which he seemed to answer well, and then cut the interview fairly short. I thought it was all over and done with until I had gotten an email from a woman a month later asking about her son's application. She seemed offended he hadn't gotten an acceptance or rejection. It bothered me. I felt bad for the kid, honestly. Way back when I was a teenager, my mum used to pull the same but luckily, she only did that when I was 15 and working for a day camp, not when I was an adult applying for engineering jobs. But I felt like this poor kid was getting his chances ruined because his mum wasn't giving him the chance to apply on his own. I sent an email back saying I was not at liberty to send information about an application to anybody but the applicant. I also asked HR to send an email to the kid saying sorry, but we're not making him an offer. It is something we usually do, but his rejection email must have slipped through the cracks with all the COVID craziness. Anyways, after we sent that, I got a phone call from his mum. She had a forwarded copy of the email and she was demanding answers. I said that I could not comment on the guy's performance in the interview to her as she was not the applicant. If he wanted to reach out to me, I was happy to give some feedback. However, I could say that regardless of his performance, her presence in the interview took him out of consideration for the position. We were looking for an independent and self-driven person for the position, and for that reason, it is important to see an applicant speak for themselves, follow up themselves, etc. I also said that as a piece of advice, every hiring manager I've met in my career who sees someone other than the applicant answering questions during an interview, following up on the applicant's behalf, etc., would put their resume on the do not hire pile, since while the applicant may be skilled and motivated, they need the ability to demonstrate those traits themselves. She blew up at me over that, kind of cussing me out to the point where I'd hung up. Am I the silly bugger for how I handled this? Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut way earlier. Yeah, you're definitely not the silly bugger in this situation. The mum is just an overprotective and overcaring mother who's overstepped and hasn't realized and really just needs to take a look at herself, you know? Your son is an adult now. He's trying to apply for a job, and the best way for him to apply for a job is not through his mother giving testimony. It's through his own merit, his own intelligence, not from a character witness who gave birth to him. I know that might sound really harsh, but that's just how it is, okay? I know you're trying to do your best there, Mum, but you're just shooting him in the foot. Anyways, that brings us to the end of this video. Let me know what you guys thought about if I'm right with my my labeling of the silly buggers and stuff like that. Sorry I got really heated with the end of that second story. It's just that that type of person is just not a good person, and it really irritates me when I hear stories like that. Sorry about that. If you want to know how this race ended, I did actually win this race, surprisingly enough. We got completely stuffed in the pits. You might have seen it like the 6-minute mark. We got held for so long, literally ages, but we managed to just get back in the pits again, put full wets on, and we just absolutely smashed it on our final stint. And yeah, we got from P4 to P1, and Carlos Sainz, right, he finished in P2 from P14. I know a lot of people don't care about this, but I do. So yeah, special shout out to my channel members, especially Leon Rosengarten, for being an ultra amazing silly bugger, something like that. I forget the title. If you want to join the channel and get a shout out at the end of the videos, there is a link down below, and there's also that big join button. You just click on that, read through the ones that have shout outs, and you get a shout out. So hell yeah.